Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Makita has one of the largest lineup of OPE battery powered tools in the market, and lawnmowers are probably no exception. So on today's episode, we're going to be talking about this Makita XML08 lawnmower, 36 volt lawnmower, 18 volt X2 on their 18 volt LXT platform. And I think it's one of the most misunderstood, underrated mowers on the market. We're going to go over some of the details and then probably tell you why I think that or whatnot. So stick with us. All right, you guys, so this right here is a Makita XML08 36 volt lawnmower, okay? It uses two 18 volt batteries in series to gain that 36 volts, so it's on their 18 volt LXT platform. And it's fairly new, they fairly recently launched it. And I think it's really like very heavily probably misunderstood or not taken very well. And I'm gonna try to drill into some of those details and things like that. So without too much further ado, let's really get into it. So, like I said, this is XML08. I acquired this mower in a promotional kit or whatever you want to call it. And the promotional kit model number or the part number, whatever package number is XML08PT1. Okay, so if you get it in the kit or in the promotional kit at least, you get 4 LXT batteries and 1 dual port charger on top of this mower, obviously. So right now it's on sale. I think it's like $6.99 or something like that from the depot and most authorized retailers. And it comes, like I said, 4 batteries instead of 2. For some reason, when they sell it as a kit, even though it's a 4-port battery bay, they only give you 2 batteries. And the promotion right now is $100 off and get 2 extra batteries, okay? So that's how the promotion really works. So this is right now, as you would get it, $700 system, okay? And that's probably now a good time to tell you, this is not a sponsored video. Makita did not send this to us. No tool person sent this to us. We acquired this lawnmower with our own monies, purchased it, brought it home, XYZ. So with that in mind, just keep that in mind when we're going over some of this stuff, all right? So, all right, so let's really get into it. We're going to go over some of the quick details and we'll get into it, all right? So this is a 21-inch blade mower, okay? So the deck is about 22 inches, but the blade itself is about 21 inches. So it's 21 inch. This is a self-propelled version. There's a non-self-propelled version, but this one is self-propelled, okay? On that front, the self-propelled function of this is rear-wheel drive. Rear-wheel drive. Some of the, I don't think Makita makes a front-wheel drive. I know some of the battery powered mowers are front-wheel drive and some are rear-wheel drive. There's pros and cons to both, but this one is rear-wheel drive. They make a model almost exactly like this, except it doesn't have rear-wheel drive, or it's just push. But this one right here is rear-wheel drive. Okay, so when Makita is really launching this, they're really aiming for like that contractor, like landscape contractor type market, like the pro user, okay? And I think that's why it's mainly misunderstood. For example, this lawnmower is actually really heavy. When you pick it up at the box from the store and try to put it on the cart on the flatbed or whatnot, and you try to roll out, you're gonna pick it up thinking, holy crap, this is supposed to be a battery powered lawnmower. Why in the world is it so heavy? You got the right box, right? So that's one of the first things I thought through my head, because if you're used to, if you watch the channel, you know I use like the DeWalt and the Craftsman. I actually even had a Cobalt one for a long time ago. Anyways, those lawnmowers are really light. Even if the deck is metal, those lawnmowers are very light. You can pretty much most people can probably pick it up with one hand. On this mower by itself, I had a hard time picking it up. You can pick it up by yourself, but it is pretty heavy. I mean, I was struggling quite a bit. So this mower by itself weighs in somewhere around 108 pounds, all right? That's pretty heavy. The steel deck on this is actually really thick metal, okay? Like some of the other ones, you can tell it's a really cheap metal and it sounds a little hollow, whatnot. This one is pretty thick, okay? So make sure you also keep that in mind. While we're talking about the heaviness and the rear-wheel drive, let's talk about these tires here real quick. So most lawnmowers, even some of the gas ones, have an all hard plastic wheel, okay? And don't get me wrong, this is hard plastic right here too. But this hard plastic is actually encased in a really nice rubberized, like a case or like a wheel. It's not like a tire, but it's like a wheel that kind of goes over it, and it actually works really well. I know most people probably don't think that's going to be a big deal, especially but if you got hills, like I have really bad hills, or if you're transitioning from one area to another area and like over a sidewalk or something like that, you'll actually see a difference. I mean, if you pay attention to it. I was actually able to tell a really nice difference going up the hill. With the rubberized tires, it does seem to grip a lot better. And I definitely appreciate Makita taking the attention and detail on that front, okay? Other thing to note on here is it's a one lever quick adjust. So it goes from about 1.25 inches all the way up to about 4 inches, okay? This is a 3-in-1 mower. It has obviously the side discharge, the bagging, and the mulch plug, okay? So all that really comes with it. The battery bay, I'm gonna bring you in a little bit closer and we'll talk about that. Obviously handle here, handle back here. Let's talk about the bag real quick. So the bag that comes with it, obviously the bag comes on, well, on this one, the bag comes on the wireframe. It's not one of those you kind of have to assemble. It only comes like this, okay? Makita actually did a really nice, I don't know, bag indicator here. They have this like little blue flap here that when when the bag is empty and the air kind of flows through, it kind of lifts this bag, this flap up. When the bag is full, it kind of lays down. So it's a bag indicator and it works fairly well. I normally don't bag, but I did use it quite a bit, or at least a little bit, trying to figure out how well it works. And it seems to work pretty well. I mean, didn't like surprise me or anything, but it does work really well. The bagging feature actually works really well. I tried not to bag too much while recording the video because we did just do core aeration and I didn't want to pick up all those plugs. But anyways, the point is it does work really well. It's a nice feature. You don't see something like that on, you know, just your general average mower, but that's what you get. The bag is really nice. It holds about 2 bushels of grass is what they say. This is the side, this is the mulch plug. It has a little plug right here that holds it in so it doesn't automatically fall out. So if you want to pull it out, you just push the button down, pull it out. Side discharge, not too bad. All right, you guys, so we're here back at the battery bay. So the other thing to note about this battery bay before we really get into it is that what I noticed is if you're using it in the sun, the batteries in there do get really warm. And I did wish that they kind of made some kind of like ventilated, cooled system in there. I kind of see some reasons why they wouldn't, obviously, because, you know, water and dust and everything will get up in there. But anyways, the point is that the batteries do get really warm. It's like a closed, it's not completely sealed in terms of like air sealed or waterproof or whatnot, but it is sealed and it is pretty much water resistant, okay? So just keep that in mind. The other thing to note about this is this battery bay door does not stay up by itself, okay? And that's really annoying. I mean, I know you think it's something simple to gripe about, but it's pretty annoying, mainly because if you're coming to the battery with let's just say even 2 batteries, or let's just say if you came with all 4 batteries, right? You really have to use 2 hands. It's a 2-handed operation. Instead of opening it and it's staying up by itself, you have to use at least one hand to hold, right, the door, and the other hand to put the batteries in, okay? So right there, it wasn't too much of a struggle, obviously, because, I mean, we're in a pretty inside area and I got 2 hands. But if you're holding 4 batteries and trying to do that, it's a little bit of a struggle. If you're outside and you're just like dripping with sweat and trying to get that going, it's a little bit of a pain. I mean, you can obviously set the batteries down, but I just found like, you know, you could easily fix that with like a little piece of plastic or something. But that's something to keep in mind, okay? So this one right here, like I said, takes 4 5-amp-hour batteries. Yes, Makita does make 6-amp-hour batteries, but for some reason, 5-amp-hours seems to be like their main batteries that they're really using on most of their tools and things. But so holds 2 batteries, okay? And the way this mower works, it's a 36-volt mower, so it takes 2 batteries and it puts them in series. So this right here, the front one is battery bank 1. This one right here, second bay, is battery bank 2. So when you're on 1, it puts these batteries in series, and that's 1 set of batteries. When you're on 2, these 2 are in series and this is actually in use, okay? So it does not use all 4 of them at one time. It only uses 2 at a time in series. And I mean, you'd have to switch between battery bank 1 or 2, okay? So other ones are really just being carried in here for you to switch it, and that's all that matters. This key will stay in. You don't have to switch the key. Like there's some mowers where you have to pull the key out and you have to turn the key the other way to use the other one. This one is not like that. This key goes in both ways, right? This way or the other way. And it doesn't really matter which configuration is in. You just need to point to the right battery set during that time, okay? So, like I said, this bay is pretty water resistant. Obviously, water will shut off and things like that. Water can't really get up in here, mainly because of this raised lip. So even if you put like, I don't want to say hose it down or whatnot, it won't really go in to where the batteries are, mainly because of this raised lip. I'm sure if you sprayed it with enough pressure and hose or whatnot, it could get in there. So the other thing, as I kind of demonstrated to you right there, it's a little bit of a struggle to get the batteries out, okay? So sometimes the batteries, obviously over time, if you use it quite a bit, the plastic will probably wear out, but sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle to get it out, especially if you're wearing gloves or you're just in the hot sun and you're sweating and your hands are slippery, right? Because you kind of have to use one hand to hold this thing up. So it's a little bit of a struggle, obviously, not too bad. Not gonna complain too much, but I mean, that's what you really get right there with that battery bay. All right, you guys, so this is the back of the mower, okay? So the back of the mower, obviously you lift it up, and this is the mulch plug. You take the mulch plug and you slide it in. You can just hit it in, or you can just pull the clip down and then put it in, all right? So it clips in, so if you're going over rough terrain or whatnot, right, it won't fall out. You have to press the lever down and then pull it out and it will pop out, okay? So the other thing to note on here is this flap, okay? A lot of people refer to this as like a striping flap. Some people just refer to it as a flap. Anyways, the point is that this flap is actually really nice, okay? It's a thick flap and it's a rubberized type flap. It's almost like the same material as these wheels, okay? And it's very easily overlooked, and it is used a lot of times for like striping. And on this one, I think they paid a lot of attention to that. It's not a hard, thin plastic like you see on almost every single other battery powered mower and even some gas mowers. This is actually a really nice, thick, rubberized item. And it does look, if you look under, it does look like it's replaceable. So you could replace the part if you're, just mowing and you pay attention to the striping and people are paying for that kind of stuff. But it is rubberized flap and it does work pretty well. I do appreciate the attention to detail on this, so just keep that in mind. All right, you guys, so this is the right side of the mower, meaning if you're at the lever controls and using the mower, this is the right side of it. So the side discharge is on the right side. As you can see here, they did a really nice job of taking this and not just making it one just like flat cover. You can see the part that actually aligns with this metal deck is actually indented in, and they took that nice attention to detail and made it indented. That way the lineup is actually really nice and it does close really well, okay? So you've probably seen on some mowers, this chute will stay open like this or won't close all the way. Won't have a spring force clamp or something gets stuck in there and keeps it like open. On this one, the spring force is actually really nice because it does keep it closed. Also, because of that plastic indent and the way they designed it, it does stay closed. And stuff doesn't really get there. Sometimes you'll see people put like weather stripping or something there to hold that to make it a really nice seal, but you don't have to do that on this. Obviously, the way it works is just pull this up, put this in, and it works like that. This is a hard plastic. You can see it's a pretty thick plastic. It's not like this cheap plastic you see on some of the mowers, but it does work pretty well, okay? So let's talk about these wheels again here real quick. So like I said, here's the hard wheels, right? This is a hard plastic wheel. I do like this wheel better than their like previous generation, which is like, I don't know, like XML08 or something. It's like silvery shiny. I felt like it was trying too hard to be like, like chrome wheels on a car or something. These wheels actually seem like it fits really well. Ball bearings as you would expect, and here's that look at that tire again. So this tire, it's not really like a tubeless tire or whatnot. It's like a coat, it's just like a over like shield that goes on here, and it does work really well. Has a lot of tread, don't really see having issues with that. It does work really well even on wet grass when you're going uphill, and especially when you're on concrete. Does work really, really well. Like you don't get a lot of that wheel spin with the plastic wheels. Obviously one lever adjusts all of it. It goes from about 1.25 inches to about 4 inches, okay? So that's really nice. The other thing, we'll come back on here and look at this again. So this is like the deck striping, I don't know what you want to call it, flap, okay? So look at the thickness of that flap. It's a really nice flap, as you can see. You can see as I'm moving it here, kind of like it's fluid, right? And it's like a rubberized, same material as this. It's not like some super cheap, thin plastic type thing you see on pretty much every mower, even some of the higher gas powered ones. All right. So the other thing on here, I think a lot of people complain about this, but I actually get the idea behind it. I'm not going to complain too much. because I'm not sure how many pros are actually going to be in a battery lineup system, but their design behind this one right here, a lot of battery powered ones you'll see have like a little pull pin that you can pull on both sides, and it like folds, right? So on this mower, it doesn't fold, all right? So if you look at why they really did that, you see a lot of the commercial users don't worry about folding it up and putting it nicely, storing it into their garage or whatnot. They literally just roll it up in their truck, their trailer, whatever it is, and leave it down. So by having that pull push pin design, it actually makes it a little less stable. And I can kind of really relate to that because the mowers that I have that we use at least once a week to keep our grass cut on these hills. We got like a little more than a half-acre lot, and there's a lot of grass to cut. And over time, you'll see there's a lot of slop here, okay? So like for instance on here, I'm just going at it right here, there's really no slop because this bolt is bolted in to this frame, and this frame has a nut that's like welded to this bracket, okay? So if you look here, the entire lawnmower, so there's no slop there. I know some people probably won't like it, but I think for like a commercial user or a heavy duty user, or a user in my case, we're kind of just storing it in our basement or garage or whatnot, not too worried about folding it up. Not going to worry too much. The other thing to note on here is these bearings work really well. It rolls really easily, really nicely. I'm not sure if that's because the bearings are better or if the wheel is just better. Like I said, you can see on some of the plastic wheels, you'll see it's like oval or rounded, where it's like ridged up here, and it's got like these little tread patterns on the plastic ones to help it not roll too easily. But on this one, it rolls really nice. A couple times it literally ran away on me because I stopped it and I walked away to get a sip of water or whatnot, and it was just rolling away. So rolls really, really nice. Okay. All right, so this is the underside of the deck. If I didn't mention earlier, this is a 21-inch blade, okay? It's a single blade design, 21 inches. The deck is about 22 and the blade is 21. I'm not sure how well it's gonna come out on here, but as you can see here, the cutting blade of it is really focused on this one level here, instead of you kind of see on some where it's kind of like you see like a blade here and a blade here. That way it's got two heights of cutting and really cuts it really fine. That's not really a problem that I saw with the cut quality. The cut quality is still comes out really nice. And the clips I'm going to be showing you are on Bermuda grass that hasn't been cut for about 3 weeks, okay? So I've had this mower for about little more than 2 months, and we've used it pretty much a handful of times, and it's worked really well. Cut quality is great. We can talk about the runtime in a bit, but it's really a single blade design and it works really well. The main cutting blade part of it is right here on this tip. No real issues. You can obviously get replacement blades from Makita, no problem. This deck obviously is a steel deck, and you can kind of tell just by listening to the sound of it. It's pretty heavy duty, okay? And you can see there's welded points here, and it's mostly all welded to make really strong joints. Even these nuts down here have also been welded. Some plastic mowers you'll see like there's just like bolts put through here, and you kind of have to tighten it on both sides, or hold this and tighten one side or the other. But this, everything is welded, really solid construction. I don't think you're really gonna see any issues with this anytime soon. Obviously here, the drive wheel motor is back here. It does work really well, no real issues. That's the underside of the mower. All right, you guys, so this is the top of the mower, or the lever controls, whatnot. This one right here is the blade lever, and this one right here is the push lever, okay? So let's talk about a lot of the buttons and things going on here. So Makita generally uses like a power on button. If you like their chainsaws, other tools, weed eaters, or any of those things, there's always a power on button. So this is no exception, obviously. You power it on and it works, okay? So this obviously isn't gonna work until you engage it while holding this red button here, all right? And as you can see, it powers up, and there's like it's like a ramp up time, and it seems nice. I mean, obviously almost all mowers seem to have that. I don't think I've ran into one that doesn't have that. If I did, I just don't remember. Other thing on here is the battery fuel gauge. So obviously right here you can see I only have batteries in bay 1 right now, and it's all full. If you had batteries in all 4 bays, all of them would come up. And this one right here is quiet mode. So this mower has, I think, a no-low speed of around 2,800 RPMs, okay? So if you engage quiet mode, it takes the speed down to about 2,300 RPMs. But the thing to note on here is when the mower operates, obviously it starts off in 2,300 RPMs. Okay, so and then when you run into like thick grass, thick brush, or whatever it is that you're cutting, it will ramp up once it senses that thicker material, and it'll ramp it up. So if you put it in quiet mode, when you run into that thick grass, it just won't ramp up. So another way to look at it is it's just a no ramp up mode or whatnot, but it does seem to work. Obviously they do that for battery power reasons or longevity reasons, so you don't always have the motor spinning at the highest speed, just draining your battery power, okay? So the other thing on here is the, what do you call it? The self-propelled throttle selection or whatnot. As you can see here, this is rabbit. If you go all the way up here, it's fast. If you go all the way down here, it's low, okay? So the speed goes from 0 to 3 miles an hour. And it's not like a pre-selected type speed in terms of like, you know, if you select 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, it's actually a smooth lever control all the way to the top speed that you can get. So you can really dial in the speed that you need, the speed that you're completely comfortable working with. It's not like it's like a variable speed trigger in a way. It's not like a step trigger or anything like that, if you know what I mean. So that's actually convenient. It does work really nice, and it doesn't like, I haven't had an issue with it like falling out of place because I'm running really fast or hit something, right? It's a pretty stiff lever. As you can see, even if I push here, I can kind of roll the mower back a little bit, you know, just by pulling that. That's how stiff it is, okay? Or that's how nice the wheels are, depending on which way you want to look at it. So the other thing, I'll throw up a clip here, is they did a really nice design. I think I've seen this on one other mower, which is the Craftsman V60 mower that they have. Whoa, I should make sure I turn it off. All right, it's turned off. The other thing to note on here is the lever here. It's kind of hard to see from this angle. Like I said, I'll throw up a clip. Is this lever is the self-propelled lever, and this is the mower lever. So you can always keep this mower level on and either engage or disengage the self-propelled feature as it is, okay? And this has been really nice, mainly because you don't want to always have to ramp up and down the blade or whatnot, because you can always keep the blade engaged and always just engage this or not. So it makes it really nice. Sometimes you kind of see some mowers kind of have it like both, so you kind of have to play a little bit and try to hold this and let go of this at the same time, and sometimes have issues, but this doesn't have that, okay? So like I said, this is really nice, no issues. The self-propelled function, like I said, does work really nice, and it goes from 0 to 3 miles an hour, and it does ramp up really nice. We'll throw up some clips on that. The other thing to note is it does engage without the blade being engaged, okay? There are some mowers that you can't engage the self-propelled function without the blade being engaged, or without it considered being on in a way. This one, as long as it's on, the mower will engage, okay? So as long as it's on, it does work really well. And it just sounds nice. I don't know what it is about that. It just seems nice, okay? So let's talk about the performance, because obviously that's very important. So there's a few properties that I cut, like for instance, not my neighbors, but a friend's property that we've cut, that they weren't too comfortable filming on their property, whatnot. So anyways, we did use it, and it does work fairly nicely. The performance is actually really good. I mean, if you're using it, you would not be thinking this is an 18-volt platform. Obviously, it's 36-volt mower, but it's not built. It's built on an 18-volt platform, okay? The power is there. The control is there, the quality is there. It just seems that it's there, and it will cut through a lot of the, I don't know what you call it, but there's like these weeds that kind of look like small bushes or something a little bit. It'll cut through those really fine, no problem. And it leaves a nice cut quality, even with that single blade design. Cut quality seems to be really nice. So on my property, which is a little more than half an acre, I can't get through it with 4 batteries. I can get to it about 6 batteries, but the sixth or the third set of batteries would be 2 bars depleted. And I think that's mainly because I have all these hills that I'm always constantly going up and down on, and that obviously drains the self-propelled drive motor, because that drains batteries. You know, if you know anything about motor design, the more stress you're putting on that motor, the faster it drains those batteries. So I think because of that, it's draining it quicker. And it's also really hot, and sometimes we're bagging, sometimes we're mulching. Obviously that has a lot to do with it. But anyways, the point is it works really well. I'm not too concerned about it eating up batteries because obviously I'm already in the Makita platform and I have tons of Makita batteries. So I'm just using them all the time, right? So I don't have a problem with that. For me, it's a fine mower. I think where it's really misunderstood is people are gonna complain because they're gonna compare it to like the Ego or like the DeWalt or whatever it may be, right? But if you look at the price tag, you could probably get like 2 lower end, like cheaper battery powered mowers for this one mower, okay? Like for instance, I think the only mower, like battery powered mower, power tool battery powered mower, and that's taking it a stretch too because the Ego's not a power tool brand, right? It's gonna be like the Ego Select Cut that kind of comes somewhere close to this price range of like $700, right? With one 10 amp hour battery, okay? And people are gonna be comparing it to that, and that has a plastic deck and this has a metal deck or whatnot. You may be even comparing it to like a Honda gas mower, which is like in the $700-800 range. Obviously that's gas and this is battery, but it's really going after that premium market, and a lot of the quality features are there, right? Like I said, when you're using it or when you even pulling it out of the box, just the sheer weight of it and just using it takes you back to having like a battery or a gas powered lawnmower because it's just heavy, right? So sometimes the heaviness is great, sometimes it's not great. Obviously if you're using it and it's just moving along really nice, that inertia and everything that you're going is really nice. If you're used to always using a heavy gas powered mower, it's really nice. But I don't think there's going to be any problem with the steel deck. I mean, the steel deck on this thing is really tough, okay? And it just seems tough. So like I said, the wheels are really nice. The wheels definitely seem like an upgrade over even all mowers that I've generally seen. This single lever design has obviously been really nice. Not all mowers have that, but that's really great. If you're in the Makita platform, I mean, this is obviously the mower to get. I think they have a newer model that looks a little bit different, but definitely the XML08 is the one to get over the XML03 or 04, 06 or whatnot. This one I haven't seen any battery power mower really come close to this. The only thing I've really seen come close to this is probably the Ego Select Cut with the 10 amp hour battery. But like I said, I'm not really too big fan of that one, mainly because I just feel like the plastic deck, it just feels a little, I don't want to say flimsy or whatnot. There's nothing wrong with it. Obviously it works well, but you just, when you're using a tool, you just want it to feel nice. You want it to feel refined. You want it to feel like it's going to last, okay? And don't get me wrong, the Ego stuff, I've never had issues with any of the Ego stuff except for one battery. And that one's there pretty well, but something about the plastic deck, I don't know what it is. It just bothers me. Okay, yes, I'm probably just weird. But anyways, the point is, that's nice. When you get it, obviously you have to assemble it. 2 bolts here, 2 bolts here. That's really all that comes to it. When you're assembling it, make sure you don't pinch this cord between this bracket and here. If the folding down of the handle is going to bother you, don't get it. But hey, I think if you're going to buy OPE power tools, you definitely should buy the lineup of whatever brand or battery ecosystem that you're in. Most homeowners are going to have some type of power tool brand, okay? And if you're watching this channel, I'm pretty sure you're going to be more of probably a DIY or enthusiast or even a prosumer or whatnot. And if you're in probably one of the 3 big brands like the Makita, DeWalt, or Milwaukee, I mean, you're obviously going to have some kind of need for a lawnmower if you have a lawn, okay? If you have gas, obviously that's great, but I wouldn't go out and buy, for instance, like a Greenworks platform if I'm already in the DeWalt platform, because I would just go get the DeWalt mower, right? If for whatever reason you have a really big lawn and you just really want like the 80-volt power, which is a bad thing to say because voltage is not always power, then you can obviously go get that. But I think you're kind of missing an opportunity here, right? Because all these battery power tool equipment companies, except for Milwaukee, who does not make a native mower, watch my other April Fool's Milwaukee mower for that. But DeWalt and Makita have really great mowers. The newer DeWalt, I'm not too much of a big fan of. The older, I feel like they should have stayed on the older model that they have and just created like upgrades to it. But for instance, if you're in the Makita platform and you got the Makita batteries, I wouldn't go out and buy the Ego mower or get into the Ego battery lineup, because you can obviously use, the batteries are interchangeable between the 18 volt and this 18 volt system, which makes it 36 volts. I mean, like I said, I think there's a great opportunity there. Like I said, if you have need for OPE tools and you already have batteries and power tool equipment, I would just obviously go with those, okay? I mean, you can't really go wrong with any of these motors, okay? Most of the battery or OPE equipment are generally pretty good. I haven't seen one that's just terribly bad. Except for Milwaukee, because they just don't make a mower. Haha. Anyways, different story. But anyways, like I said, hope this video helped you guys out. This is a really nice mower. I really enjoy using this mower, and I really like this mower. And no, Makita didn't sponsor this. Nobody sponsored this. I'm just telling you as it is. And just picking up this mower and using it, it just feels nice. You feel the refinement. You feel the quality, okay? There's not too much to say about that. So, like I said, if you're looking to pick up this mower, I'll definitely pick it up. It can definitely go up hills, cut nice, has a nice cut quality, leaves a bunch of features, or has a bunch of features like heavy duty features, and built like it's gonna last, right? And as long as you have batteries, this mower is probably gonna last and you take care of it. So hope this video's helped you guys out, and I'll see you guys next time.